Boy, that thing sounds like it's hitting something hard.
It couldn't be maybe a dome.
There is something in the mesa right there.
Whatever this is as tall as the mesa.
Whoa, what was that purple light over there? I'm gonna head down. We need to know if this is a reaction to that rocket.
What is that? Holy crap! It looks like it's following Thomas.
Looks like a deer.
Look at this. What the heck would have burned this post?
You know what it looks like? It's something just flew right through it.
There is a ranch in northern Utah. It is considered the epicenter of the strangest and most disturbing phenomena on Earth: animal mutilations, bizarre UFO sightings, and unusual energies that have proven harmful to humans. For 20 years, the federal government tried to find answers and failed. Now, a new team of dedicated scientists, researchers, and experts has taken over. They are determined to solve the mystery and reveal the secret of Skinwalker Ranch.
When was the last time you were at the ranch, Jay?
About 11 years ago.
11 years ago.
A lot's
Wow.
changed in 11 years.
I bet a lot has changed. Over the past couple of months, our team has experienced more unexplainable phenomena on Skinwalker Ranch than ever before. So while we're working out a new strategy to determine just what the two, possibly metallic, dome-shaped and vertical anomalies we've discovered inside the mesa are, I've decided it's time to invite a colleague of mine here who has his own incredible history with the ranch, Jay Stratton. The first time you came out here, you were probably pretty skeptical as I was.
I was 100% skeptical.
Me too, man. I didn't believe none of it. Jay was not only a career defense intelligence official for the federal government, but he was also my former boss in the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force. And between 2007 and 2011, he helped create and run a government program with former Skinwalker Ranch owner Robert Bigelow to investigate the bizarre phenomena happening on the property.
So I came out 100% skeptical with the stories in mind, but wanting to see something for myself. And the ranch didn't disappoint.
Right.
I started working this topic in 2005, and I came into the topic because it was part of my job. As the Chief of Air and Space Warfare at the Defense Intelligence Agency, I was dealing with threats to U.S. platforms from foreign adversaries, highly technical capabilities. I fell into a point where I had to get really smart on UFOs, and there was nobody to turn to. So I kind of became that guy, not by design, not something I was looking for. I've briefed and provided written assessments all the way to the highest levels of the executive branch and the legislative branch. I like to think I've got a little bit of credibility in this topic. 2007, we built this contractual relationship with Mr. Robert Bigelow. The ranch became a contracted Defense Intelligence Agency observation point. And I came out here to see things firsthand in 2009. Over those years, I've seen a lot of things that I can't explain. And I'm out here again to do this research and hopefully better understand this phenomenon.
It did take a lot of thought and discussion with the family if I would do this again, just because of all the activity and everything else that's out here. You know, there's a risk, but to me, the investigation is more important and too important. So I really want to continue down that path of trying to get answers.
There is an accepted risk in coming out here, and you know, no one knows what could happen.
About to move into the ranch property here.
All right.
It sounds crazy, but the ranch reacts differently to me than it does others. Some people have a lot of reaction out here and some have none. And I really had to consider that and talk to my wife and talk to my kids.
You know, I feel the same. I think there's a moral imperative to this. I think this is extremely important and could be one of the most important things in human history.
Absolutely.
The ranch itself has been a big part of my life. It's because of the ranch that Travis and I came together in a small room in the Pentagon to talk about the phenomenon. And we really accomplished a lot in a short period of time. We see each other as valued teammates. We enjoy working together. We think we can do some really good things together.
All right, so we're gonna get out and we'll take you in and show you the command center.
Cool.
I want y'all to meet Jay Stratton.
Good to meet you.
Welcome back.
I've told them all about you, of course. So what I'd like to hear is what events happened when you were here that you can describe in as much detail as you can so we can determine if we've seen similar events.
Absolutely.
And have similar data that compares to what you've seen.
So when I came out here, the first trip out here, I was standing out kind of in the triangle area, which is randomly taking photographs and things. Lo and behold, right over the mesa, there was a craft, or whatever you want to call it, UAP now I would say, which I coined that term.
What? You gave us that term.
So I created UAP.
You can blame Jay for that,
Yeah.
right?
I didn't know that.
Because I needed to get people away from UFO because of the connotations of little green men. So, you know, standing there looking up and over the mesa was this dart-like craft, is what I call it, like a really tight triangle, kind of coming in. He was level the whole time and shot across, and I lost track of it.
During our investigation here on Skinwalker Ranch, we've seen a number of UAPs appear and disappear in the skies over the property. But 2 years ago, we saw one right above the mesa that sounds a lot like what Jay witnessed.
Hey, wait. What is that? Right there. Right. Yeah.
You seeing that?
Yes, yeah. Back up a couple frames.
All right.
You guys see, look, right here. See this?
What is that?
I don't know yet. It appears there, and then right there, right above the mesa.
Right above the mesa.
Could we be seeing the same kind of phenomena that Jay and members of the Bigelow team experienced back in 2009? The similarities are striking.
And another example, I think it was around 11:30 at night. As we were out on that back deck one time, I think there were 4 of us playing with a laser and doing other things. You know, it's late, and we observed a light on the mesa, you know, with none of us doing anything, and about in the same spot where we had the laser. And I don't remember exactly who saw what, but one of us saw a circle, one saw a triangle, one saw a square. You know, you're seeing different shapes. There may be a physiological explanation for that, I don't know, but we all saw distinctively different shapes of that same light. It's like it's giving a demonstration for each one of us separately.
Since I joined this investigation, the mesa has been a major hotspot of unexplainable phenomena. For example, back in 2018, Eric Bard captured surveillance footage of some very bizarre lights moving across the mesa, and even a beam of light emitting from it.
Again, I think it was around 11:30 at night, and 3 of us were walking down the path, joking with each other. All of a sudden, we got quiet. And that's because we got to a point and we could feel the temperature change. And as we moved forward to Homestead Two, it got colder and colder. There was a tree probably 300 yards or so shy of the Homestead Two. The moon was really bright, and it was shining a shadow across that tree, drawing a line on the road. One of my teammates was saying that we can't cross that line. And we all had the attitude, now screw that, we're going, right? We could not cross that line, no matter how hard we tried. First thing we felt was fear. And one of my teammates looked up and he saw a dark mass in the top of Homestead Two, like a shadow figure or something looking back at us. And basically we felt like whatever was going on down there, we weren't to see it. We weren't to be there.
There's so much in this story. I have heard a version of this story for years. I couldn't know that it was you.
It was, yeah.
Well, one thing I've got to tell you, just for academic honesty and ethics, is that we're going to use you today as part of an experiment. But I'm not going to tell you what that experiment is until afterwards, because I don't want to taint the outcome of the experiment.
Right.
I've worked with Jay for several years now, and I've heard him say many times how he strongly believes Skinwalker Ranch seemed to react to his presence. When I first came here, Thomas Winterton also told me he believed the property reacted more to certain people than others. So that gave Eric and I an idea to see if we could actually prove it.
The word bait comes
You
to
won't be
mind.
in any danger. We're not making you, you're not shark bait or anything like that, right?
No, I trust you guys. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. So we're gonna go on a tour of the ranch a little bit, and you tell us about the things you'd seen and so on. And we'll be taking data while we're doing that. And then afterwards, we'll tell you what type of data and that sort of thing.
Okay, yeah.
Eric and I have come up with an experiment to test if the ranch reacts to Jay being back here after 11 years. And if his presence does stimulate phenomena to occur, can we identify what it is? That's what we'd like to find out.
Again, investigation's important.
Obviously, it makes a lot of sense for us to study very carefully anything that our instruments can detect as we bring Jay onto the property and take him to certain points of interest from his experience, as well as to determine whether the ranch would respond to the novelty of his presence. Well, I really like this plan. You know, we've got a course laid out for ourselves. We've got some instruments that we want to take with us, so we should go get the instruments repaired and we'll head out.
All right, we'll meet you at the vehicles. I figure we can put it on the hood.
Here, I've got some foam.
Yeah, we don't want to scratch it. It's a common theory that Skinwalker Ranch responds to the presence of certain people. So we're going to drive former ranch investigator Jay Stratton around to the hot spots where he experienced really bizarre phenomena when he was part of the Bigelow investigation more than a decade ago. We'll see if him coming back to the property causes strange things to happen.
That ain't going nowhere.
Good.
Yeah.
So I've got both of these GPS trackers running and data logging.
Okay.
We should
All
be
right.
good to go, guys.
Eric has outfitted the Jeep with GPS sensors, gamma ray detectors, and the spectrum analyzer, so we can continuously scan for strange energy spikes and pinpoint the locations where anything out of the ordinary might occur.
I'll go jump in the black.
All right, you gonna follow behind?
Yep.
After our tour with Jay, we'll duplicate the exact route without him on the property. That will allow us to compare the collected data sets to see if there really is a measurable difference between the two. Y'all in?
You are cleared for takeoff.
We'll start the tour in the eastern portion of the ranch. From there, we'll head to the Triangle, travel west past the Mesa drill site, and then on to Homestead 2. You see something you want to tell us about or ask us questions about, just say something and we'll stop and we'll do that.
I want to know exactly where you were at when that apparition or whatever it was.
Yeah, me too.
All right, Jay, now when we get to where you think it's the spot, you just stop us.
I'm pretty sure it was that tree right there.
Well, you want to stop here?
Yeah, I mean, this is about the right spot.
All right. So you think it's this way?
Yep, no, I think we're right at about the spot where we started to feel the fear.
Right in here?
Yeah,
Where do you think the line was in the
it was
road?
at that tree.
That tree?
Yep, I'm pretty sure that's the tree. First night we were on the ranch, it was about 11:30 at night, and myself and my two teammates went for a walk. So we walked down the road, made our way around the curve towards Homestead 2. And as we made that turn, there's a little tree casting a shadow line across the road. And as we pushed towards that line, I said, "Do you guys feel that?" And immediately one of my teammates said, "Yeah, the hair's standing up on the back of my neck." Feeling the fear about right here, and the temperature inversion was about right here too.
Really?
As we walked closer to Homestead 2, we felt a drastic drop in temperature. And it was a wall. You could put your arm through it and you could feel the cold versus the heat. It was a drastic drop, something that just didn't belong. As soon as we come around the corner, the feeling was turn around, go back. On the second floor of Homestead 2, through the night vision device, we saw what resembled a dark, shadowy figure.
I want to ask about the dark apparition. Can you point to where it was?
Absolutely.
Let's walk and see.
That upper area right there.
It was up in there.
Yep. We could see in the distance what looked like a shadow figure or, a person, a dark person, standing on the second floor of this structure, kind of in the middle, staring right back at us.
What's really interesting is that there is no floor there, though. And if you saw something standing in the middle, that's kind of bizarre.
And you interpreted it as basically human form?
It would have been pretty tall, though.
Yeah.
Now, while no one on our team has seen such a distinct shadowy figure like what Jay described, we did have a very similar experience at Homestead 2 back in 2020. When my friend, Rabbi Ariel Zadok, performed an ancient Hebrew prayer that was actually designed for opening interdimensional portals, our thermal cameras captured a temperature vortex forming near the second floor of Homestead 2, right where Jay saw that shadowy figure appear.
That is odd. You focus on this part right here?
Then, when Eric reviewed the thermal footage, he spotted something small and colder than its surroundings moving very fast across the road in front of the homestead.
Whoa. Whoa, what was that?
Right there, that.
Could this be the same type of phenomena that Jay and his colleagues witnessed here over 10 years ago? We can't say for sure, but we do know more investigation at Homestead 2 is an absolute must.
Caleb, you gonna meet us down the road?
After we visited the last stop on our ranch tour with Jay and got the data for the first part of the experiment,
Jay, I gotta tell you, it has been fantastic hearing what you've got to share.
we finished up with him and had him leave the ranch. Then we reset the equipment because we planned to duplicate the experiment the next day to collect a new data set.
Investigation continues. Jay is completely off the ranch now. Everything's there just like when he was with us, right?
Yeah.
Now that we've got the data from the first part of our ranch experiment with Jay,
We'll see if we see any changes in the instruments.
we'll drive the exact same route with all the same equipment as yesterday. We'll then compare the data sets and look for any different measurements.
What's up, dude?
While Eric, Thomas, and I conducted the second part of the Jay Stratton experiment, Dragon and Caleb met with Don Mitchell.
Dragon, Caleb.
He's the local Uinta Basin Fire Management Officer and Chief of the Wildlife Division for the Bureau of Indian Affairs. We were hoping that Don might be able to tell us more about the burn marks on the fence post we found last week.
You go ahead and take shotgun, Don. It's fine.
But since he is a senior member of the Eastern Shoshone tribe, we also wondered if he could offer any insight about the recent phenomena that we've been experiencing in the South Field.
Whoa, what was that purple light over there?
We were doing some experiments with rockets, and Thomas saw a purple light here in the south field.
What is that?
That led us to placing game cameras in these locations. And as we were coming into this particular area to put a game camera up, we find a burnt post.
What the heck would have burned this post?
And there just so happens to also be a deceased deer in this exact same area. That one's been torn apart by something. We started looking around a little bit, and that's where we found this post. And you can see right there, it's got that little curve in it.
Okay. Is there anything in particular we should look for?
I would look for any other burnt debris that might have projected out. And Caleb, there was no other tracks.
We didn't see any vehicle tracks, no human tracks, nothing.
Kind of getting a feeling or a sense of kind of heaviness. Protecting of an area is most crucial. So let's hold here for just a sec. Just gonna do an offering of some tobacco and just ask the Creator, please watch over us and go ochi. As a member of the Eastern Shoshone tribe, I do a cultural blessing and give an offering of tobacco. It's always best to give some type of offering for protection, understanding, before going in and onto the ground to investigate. Okay, Caleb, Dragon, let's continue on here. What is strikingly odd is this line that goes up and around, and where is the rest of it?
Our initial thought is lightning. But I'd assume if we had a lightning strike here, we'd see definitely more damage on the ground.
We would definitely see debris. As you can see in the smoldering phase of this, that there's no blackening. that comes up around the post in any direction. Like if we put a candle here and it started to smolder right here, we would get that black smoke residue of that carbon onto the post.
So if I'm understanding correctly, based off of what you're saying, it seems as though it was something extremely hot that scorched it, but it never really incinerated, correct?
Correct. But I can tell you, this is not arson, this is not chemical, and this, in my opinion, is not lightning.
So what is it then?
That's the million-dollar question, Dragon.
Have you seen anything like this before?
I have seen only man-made of something of this nature because of the line through plasma cutting. It's hard to speculate, but from the different areas of spontaneous combustion that I've dealt with in my career and in fire investigations, it was some type of extreme heat. A third of that post is missing. It is very bizarre.
When you kind of look at this, you see that there's this curve in that post that's been taken out, as if something came through it and caused this damage. And yeah, there's no debris. So how hot would it have to be to just totally
vaporize?
We're talking about 780 to 800 degrees.
And if there's that kind of a heat signature, just the radiant heat would cause damage to this green foliage, and it looks like none of it has been exposed to any of the extreme heat.
Correct.
So we know this is hot as lightning, but it's not lightning. It's not man-made.
Correct.
So what could do that?
I'll only touch on it just briefly, because this is definitely strange. Speaking culturally, it would go back to what the ranch is named after.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't feel comfortable speaking on that.
No problem.
I don't want to breach anything that is...
But we will continue on.
I think it's really valuable and important that we have Native Americans coming to the property, because there's a lot of history here, and this is a different viewpoint that we really don't get a lot of.
It's just so strange.
Yes.
Some Native Americans aren't willing to speak of any kind of relation when it comes to Skinwalker Ranch or anything involving the word Skinwalker. Bringing attention to a Skinwalker is very bad medicine, and it makes them very uncomfortable because they don't want to draw anything of that energy into their life.
Don, I can't thank you enough for coming out here and lending your expertise, both from your professional side of things as well as your spiritual side of things, and offering a blessing of protection. I've felt good, and hopefully this will lend us to get more answers.
Yes, because how do you answer the unanswerable? And all we can do is, as we peel back that veil and peel that onion a little bit and move forward. Thank you, Dragon.
Thank you, Don.
Hey, Eric. You got Jay on the horn yet?
Yeah, I have him.
The day after we completed the control run of our two-part experiment with Jay Stratton, Eric and I processed all the data and immediately arranged a video conference to share the incredible results. Hey, Jay, how's it going?
Hey guys, how are you?
All right. So, in this experiment, what we did, Jay, is we put GPS sensors on the Jeep. We had a magnetic field meter on there, and we also had a Geiger counter in there that we were data logging through the entire time you got in the Jeep and went on the tour. And we timed and logged every step of the way and everything you did from the time we left the command center. And then after you left the ranch, we did a control run. And then when we got back, Eric took the data, compiled it all, and then overlaid the two data sets. And you would think, well, what difference does that make? Well, we were wondering if, since you were here back in the Bigelow era and you had seen some things when you were here, if maybe the ranch would respond or you would stimulate a response or something. So that was the idea for the experiment.
I'm super excited to hear if there was a response. So I think it was a perfect experiment to try and see if there's some type of connection that ranch or that area makes with individuals coming out there.
Well, with that said, Eric, what do you think? Let's show him the...
Well,
the
I think I should probably run through the summary at least. You know, we have different kinds of data that, as Travis just took us through. So, to start with, I want to look at the GPS trackers. So I think what I'd like to do is a screen share.
That'd be great.
And bring up the control tour that we did.
You seeing all that, Jay?
I see at least the initial.
Perfect. So, of course, this follows all of the roads that we took.
And if you look at that, it pretty much looks like exactly what we did. This was without you here on the ranch. You'd already gone home.
This is what we expected to see. So,
absolutely, yeah.
So
looks completely normal to me.
Okay. Now, I'm going to bring up the data generated during your visit. I've colored it red, of course. And at first glance, it conforms to the same path.
Do you notice anything about the data yet?
Well, it's sparse. There's a heck of a lot of missing data points.
That does seem to be the case, doesn't it?
And at this spot right here, that's the drill site.
We should be seeing a lot more than we're seeing.
You should be.
Yeah, so I don't know how to break it to you except to show you.
But now look where the data actually is. The data went way underground.
Wow. That's amazing.
Literally, the only thing we changed in the experiment was the occupants of the car, and the data goes nuts. It went way underground.
Wow.
And if you look, this spot right here, that's the drill site. And then when you go to the next dip, that's where you stopped and said, this is the tree that you saw the thing standing up in Homestead 2. And look how the data goes way deep underground there. How far is that, Eric?
You know, if we use the mesa as our scale reference, we're looking at something like, 1,000 feet.
It's amazing.
The GPS data from our experiment with Jay Stratton is just plain crazy. It shows that Jay went underground just after passing the mesa drill site. Then, once he moved closer to Homestead 2, it says he went over 1,000 feet below the surface. And what's really interesting is the control is completely different. Can you overlay them?
I sure can.
So if you overlay them now and look, when you go underneath the ground, none of the control data is under the ground, but look at your path.
We're seeing something in that area affecting the equipment, reacting to my presence being there. That's amazing.
What could just you being in the car do to a GPS sensor to make it go haywire?
I mean, when I was first introduced to the ranch, folks were referring to the ranch as if it's a person reacting. Obviously, I was highly skeptical of any of that. Again, it's been in my life so long that I'm comfortable referring to the ranch as a person now, because I've certainly seen it react differently to different people.
So the question is, does the ranch somehow know you were here? Was it coupled, entangled with you?
Right.
This data strongly suggests that the ranch really does react to individuals, but why some more than others? And why did the GPS sensor suddenly go underground just after Jay passed the mesa drill site? Could the dome-shaped object that we drilled up against deep inside the mesa somehow be connected to the GPS data going 1,000 feet below the surface? At this point, we don't know, but it seems like more than just a coincidence. Jay, this is great. Really appreciate you being in our experiment.
Oh, definitely.
See you later, Jay.
Thanks, gents.
Well, the big question still remains, how do we get inside the mesa?
It's almost like we're just hitting something really, really hard.
The last time we drilled from the bottom of the mesa, we weren't able to reach the vertical and potentially metallic object inside there. So now we're gonna brainstorm a new approach that might work. We're gonna have to drill from the top of the mesa, The one thing we definitely know is that it won't be easy.
Well, I sure am curious about whatever it is that we hit that, number one, was so hard, number two, didn't produce any friction against that drill head, and number three, caused the change in the RF spectrum.
That to me is 3 pieces of data that are really phenomenal. I mean, why did it not grind that drill bit down? That is amazing. What kind of material can do that? So how could we look inside the mesa?
I haven't found a place that we could easily do that without completely scarring it permanently. You know, Brandon made it clear he doesn't want that. Personally, I don't want to do that. So I've got a possible solution. I wonder if we brought a portable drill in and tried to do just a vertical shaft down and try to go down on top of it to where we could get a camera down there.
Yeah, and we could then maybe find if that hole's connected to something somewhere.
So if we get directly above the place where the drill head got stopped, I'd like to know exactly what did it encounter right there, because we know we've got something really hard there.
I like your idea, Eric, of going where the drill head stopped, because we know exactly where that bit was at.
Oh, that's a great idea. Oh, we need to do, let's do that. That's a great idea.
Well, I say we get back to the command center and start planning how we're going to pull this off.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go check the game cameras.
Sounds like a plan.
After the recent incident that had Thomas chasing off after some purple light in the south field, we've deployed these various game cameras. I've asked Caleb to go out and grab the cards from them to see if there's anything that we see there that is strange or stands out.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, man.
I got those cards from those cameras.
Yep. Okay, cool. Let's check it out.
Okay. This is us setting it up, looks like.
How long have these been out there?
About a week.
Okay.
About a week now. This is on the east, facing west.
Okay.
Which I'm not seeing anything jumping out at me right now.
Surprised we haven't seen any game of any kind yet.
That's what I'm wondering. What's setting off the cameras?
Right. Whoa, 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 whoa. Back that up.
That?
Yeah, back that up. What was that?
I'm just running through it, frame by frame.
What?
It's like a silver orb. Looks like a silver orb or something.
Well, it was something. It was really quick. Do we have the possibility to like pause it and then like scrub through it?
Yeah. So this is gonna be frame by frame here.
Didn't you see it? It was like some little quick flash there.
I saw over in this area there, yeah. Whoa, right there.
Look at that.
So depending on how far away that is.
Yeah, I mean, if it's back at the tree line, that thing's pretty big.
It's massive if it's at the tree line.
And it's gone. It's like one frame?
One frame.
What? And this is like broad daylight?
Yeah.
As you can imagine, these cameras picked up all sorts of normal things. But there was a couple frames on one of them that was really strange. And at first glance, it appeared to be a silver orb type shaped object off in the distance. I don't know whether it's exotic or not, but it's still a concern. Well, the hard thing is to try and determine the size of that thing.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever it is, it's moving fast.
And from here, it looks like it's coming straight in.
If I pause it like this, that makes me think it's big. What I'd like to do is get Eric's eyes on it. You know, he's got that video software where he can analyze everything and track everything. So we probably need to get his eyes on this.
Yeah.
Hey, Eric, this is Bryant and Caleb at the guard shack. Do you copy?
Ed, what you got?
So Caleb brought me the memory cards from those trail cameras that we have out on the property. But there's one thing that we'd like you to get your eyes on.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Eric.
Okay, so let's go. See if we can get better eyes on them.
If this is some sort of orb, that's interesting, and it's definitely something that Travis and Eric need to take a look at and analyze further. If it's not, and it's a security risk, someone trying to damage our assets, that falls on my plate. So it's important for us to get eyes on this immediately. Hey guys.
What's going on, fellas?
Hey.
Did you get that file I sent?
Yeah, I just got that.
Okay.
Curious to see what it is. It's gonna be over here on this monitor.
What file? What y'all send?
Yeah, so just to preface what's going on, you know, we have those trail cam or game cameras in some of the parts of the property.
We got 3 just down there on the
On the
south
south
end of
side?
the property.
Oh, yeah, okay.
We go and put these cameras out there pretty soon after Tom saw that purple light.
Yeah.
You know, within a day. So I just went down there and grabbed those 3 cards, swapped them, put new ones in, and we just were looking at the footage, and we just found something that we thought you guys might want to look at.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So guys, will you remind me how deep into the interior of the property this camera
So
is?
this camera is really inside the property. It's not on the fence line. So for someone to find this, they have to be on the property extensively.
Okay.
But on the other side of that is the camera that's on the other side of the field looking at this camera didn't catch anything.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you ready to take a look at it?
Yeah, sure.
All right, here we go.
Right.
No, whoa, whoa,
Go back,
whoa,
right
whoa,
there.
whoa, whoa.
Right there.
Oh, wow.
Holy cow.
Well, it looks like at least part of this thing is spherical.
Right.
Is this a one-frame event?
It is. It's literally one frame.
It's crazy.
So if it's something like really exotic, like middle of the day, an orb like that showing up, a sphere showing up, that's crazy. At first glance, what are your thoughts?
Well, the fact that the shape of the dark spot is different and it seems to have expanded relative to the rest of it is kind of consistent with reflections because it's in a different place.
Which suggests that it's metallic or at least reflective of some sort.
It does suggest that.
Travis, the first time I was looking at this, it makes me think of the model that you made of what we were potentially seeing with the other orbs during the night.
Yeah, the orange orb that we saw with the drones. There is a similarity. One of the things that sticks out to me about this, Caleb, you're right, is this dark spot in the front of it. That orange orb that we saw that night clearly had a dark spot in the middle. This new metallic-looking UAP that was spotted in the south field does resemble a model I made of an orange orb that appeared during an experiment with a swarm of drones a few weeks ago. All right, we have drones armed, guys. Wow. Look at that.
We got something right there.
Right where? Right where? Yeah, it is. That's it right there. It clearly looks like it's 2 halves, and looking at it, it looks like it actually is an indention, doesn't it? There's some dark spot to it. From modeling that, I put this together, and this is kind of my idea of what it looks like.
Why don't I bring that up for comparison?
If you kind of compare that to that, there is a similarity.
Yeah.
We definitely need to get to the bottom of this because that is the direction that burned post is at.
Is something like that going to generate the type of heat to do that? Maybe. And who's to say what this thing looks like at night?
I mean, the interesting thing about that burned fence post is we found it after we saw that bright purple flash down there in the southern part.
Yep.
Yeah.
We might have caught something here in the middle of the day.
Right, which is amazing. What I find fascinating about this orb is it's there 1 second and it's gone so quickly. It must be moving at a high rate of speed. And it just so happens it's in the same area where we found this strange burnt post and a dead deer. Are they related somehow? I don't know, but it's really strange.
I think if this shows us anything, it's that, look, we've had quite a few different incidents happen down on that part of the property in a very short period of time. I think, if anything, that shows us that we need to deploy some more assets down there and instrument that side of the property out a little bit better.
And I'll go poke around out there some more and see if I can't find anything.
Yeah, we just need to up the amount of time we spend there, at least in the short term, given that, I mean, if this truly is happening in broad daylight, I mean, it's something definitely we need to get more eyes on.
And, you know, if it takes it, we could even just keep a vigil. We could physically go down there and just watch.
Yeah, keep an eye on that south field.
I agree. I'm for it.
Well, thanks, guys.
You guys.
All right.
Okay, thanks, guys.
All right, well, I'm gonna leave you with it, Eric.
Interesting find.
We're dealing with things on a scale of 512 acres of ranch here. We have a few known hot spots, but we have no idea whether effects such as we've witnessed here might play out in other regions of the property.
Since I've started working on Skinwalker Ranch, there's always been this idea that it responds to certain individuals. We still don't know why, who, or how. As we continue this investigation, hopefully we'll learn more about these strange mysteries.
Never before have we seen scientific equipment and personnel dedicated to finding the answers. There isn't another private piece of property that has this degree of scientific research. We don't know what lies in store. We're in uncharted territory. But I am more willing than ever to take the risk, to explore the unknown, to discover the secret of Skinwalker Ranch.
Eric was telling us that you got some new equipment that can help us identify something underneath the ground.
Multispectral. There's some interesting stuff. I've been itching to show it to you.
By the bait pin, there are 3 circles.
So I'll make some arrangements and we'll get an excavator out here and we'll go out and dig.
Oh, well, wait a minute. Hey, guys, y'all come look at this. It's hard for me to believe that's Mother Nature.